Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Three Wise Guys. I almost went into Bruce Buffer there, I won't lie.
Yeah.
Almost. I felt it a little bit.
Do you know what? I wouldn't mind Bruce Buffer. Okay. I'm not to talk shit on the missing wise guy, but I think Bruce Buffer, does better intros than a regular Three Wise Guy intros. That shouldn't be debatable.
No, I mean, obviously. But you know what's interesting? I think we were talking about this like last year. Bruce has a brother.
Yeah. And they both won. I think. Wait. So one does boxing, the other does MMA.
So Bruce's brother is the boxing guy, and he's like
Michael.
I don't know. It's
Michael.
Something Buffer, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I think his brother is actually more popular than him.
Way more popular because of boxing, right?
Yeah,
but like,
of boxing.
If you ever do watch his brother do the announcement, no offense, he's not as good as his brother, even though he's way bigger. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that like insane energy. Like maybe that's what boxing needs, like that professionalism a little bit.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, like I think the Bruce Buffer MMA intros are way more animated.
Yes.
Can we double check his name is Michael Buffer? Can we check that? I believe that's his name. They're way more animated than the Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, I remember than the Michael Buffer. What's it called? Boxing intros, but it seems like Michael paved the way. I wonder who's older.
I think Michael.
Yeah, I think Michael definitely older, but like they're both like
81.
Holy shit, 81 years old. Like it's so funny, but like I tease and I make fun of our intros, but you do it well enough, you get a fucking job out of that, right? Like I wonder how much those guys get paid for every gig.
Dude, if we're like billionaires by the time we get married, I'll like hire Bruce Buffer like to do your wedding announcement or probably bachelor. That'd be more fun. The wedding one might not be as fun actually.
Really?
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. I was at a networking event a couple of weeks ago, and someone was asking me like, why do I go to networking events? And I basically go for free food and free drinks and stuff. And the big win out of this was I got introduced to the guy who hosted it. Was like, I'm doing another one for the World Cup, and I'll invite you to it. So I don't know if that means like it's just a watch party or like he actually has tickets, but I might be getting my sport bag on, heading into the summer here. So I didn't do any work. I didn't sign up for any tickets, but I might be going to go see the World Cup, which is the least deserving member out of the three of us.
What? Do you think this is real? Like they actually have these tickets? Or
no, I don't know if they have tickets.
They're in the draw, right?
No, I think I didn't even do the draw. I'm not even gonna lie. I didn't even bother. So like he was basically saying like they're doing like something for the World Cup. They're not sure if they are like gonna go to the game or it's just gonna be a watch party like for the game or something. But like either way,
likely watch party.
Watch party.
Like I was like, chill out. Like at this point, I don't think I've met a single Canadian that's gonna go for the World Cup.
I know one person was volunteering for it.
Oh, who was that?
Aaron. He's like this guy I met from university. But
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Yeah, good luck volunteering, buddy. No, that was me. Like when I was a broke student, that's what I used to do. Like, I would volunteer to get in. No, volunteers are very important in life. Please volunteer.
Oh, this guy actually like he cares. You know what I mean? Which is good.
Yeah, I think that's super important. But I was gonna say, not like I know many Canadians, and I won't lie, a lot of the Canadians I know aren't the richest either, because I'm not the richest. But yeah, like kind of just curious, like who knows? Like the World Cup is in less than 3 months.
Yeah,
I don't know a single person that has tickets.
Me neither. And God knows that none of us know anyone rich enough to go for the resale. So
yeah, like that's I what's it called? I signed up for a draw.
Nothing yet?
No, nothing. I signed up for fucking RBC. And RBC is always advertising that shit. So yo, RBC, hit me up. Let me know, man. Like I bank with you guys. A lot of, maybe not a lot. But
yeah, we'll make you our headline sponsor if you give us 3 World Cup tickets.
Actually, RBC is Three Wise Guys Bank.
I mean, they don't need to know that.
Well, I'm just saying. Well, fucking sponsor us. Like, get with us, man.
Yeah,
we could be doing ads for you.
The official bank of Three Wise Guys, for sure.
Yeah, we could be like your Gen Z entrepreneurial bank. Like, we could be doing marketing for that.
So okay, I actually brought up the World Cup thing because I thought that was going to be a good transition to our first topic.
Yeah,
But
it
now
is.
that,
It is.
but now
But
that you're
don't
saying
ruin
the,
it. Don't
now that you're
ruin it.
saying the bank thing, I'm like, I just had a really stupid idea.
Okay.
What if like we just started to say we were automatically sponsored by these big names, and then basically they pay us to stop saying that?
Yeah.
Like we basically just say the official podcast of Apple, Amazon.
Does that work?
Nvidia.
Does that work?
We start putting it on our website.
Does that work? If it works, let's run it.
I think they're gonna send us a defamation lawsuit.
Do you know what? Why not? Why not?
We'll think about this
Okay,
more.
we'll think about it. But yeah, like
World
speaking
Cup,
of overpriced sporting events, I don't know this. Well, I do know this, but I know like Luke is not the biggest sports fan. We were thinking about sports teams and how many cities have all four major sports.
Yes.
Right? And so four major sports in North America. Okay, unfortunately, soccer is not one of them. The MLS isn't big time.
No.
But the four major sports are NFL, NBA, MLB, and the NHL. Let's do that again. NFL, NBA, NHL. I feel like I wanted to do all the N's before I did the M.
Okay, yeah.
Probably, I don't know. That was just me being an idiot.
It is weird that it's Major League Baseball and national everything else.
Yeah, but like it's also Major League Soccer, MLS.
Oh, maybe it's like the two countries because no, but we have the Raptors.
It's all in America. And dude, don't think about it twice. Don't think about it too much. But yeah, they're all NFL. So like I think the question is how many cities do we know? Because for example, like Toronto has 3 of 4.
Yep.
We don't have NFL, but we have CFL, right? Like which doesn't count. But like if we had CFL, we would have it all because we have NHL with the Leafs.
Yep.
We have MLB with the Jays. We have NBA with the Raptors. Okay, we have MLS even with the soccer.
WNBA.
We have WNBA coming soon.
Yeah.
Well, what's the name of the team again?
Shoot.
Yeah,
For some reason, I thought it was the Liberties, but no, that's New York.
No, that's New York. I forget what the
Tempo.
name.
Toronto Tempo. Yeah.
Toronto Tempo. Okay. Yeah, we have the Tempo coming soon. Stay tuned for that. And yeah, we don't have NFL, but we do have the CFL. We have the Argonauts. So like technically, Toronto can't get that, but leave Toronto alone. We know New York.
Yeah, New York has all 4.
New York has all 4. In fact,
double
New York
dipping.
has double for some of them.
On 3 of them.
Like
on the NFL, NBA, and MLB. I don't know if
they do have 2. They have 2 NHLs as well.
Really?
Yeah, the Islanders and the Rangers. New York has double.
Yeah.
New York
is 2x everything.
The mega city.
Yeah.
I think it might be maybe the only one.
Okay, LA has 2 MLB teams. It has
LA.
2 and it has 2 like
True.
it has the Dodgers and the Angels.
Okay.
And then it has 2 basketball teams, right?
Yeah,
The Golden State Warriors and
the Clippers.
the Clippers and the Lakers.
It has 2 NFL teams too.
The Rams and the Chargers.
Yeah, and then it has the Los Angeles Kings.
No, I think that's Sacramento. No.
Yeah, for NHL, it has the Los Angeles Kings. This is where like
it's just Los Angeles teams.
Yeah, but like I think like Anaheim, like is Anaheim? Do they still have the Anaheim Ducks? Like
I don't think so.
I would say check NHL teams in LA. LA hockey teams. Yeah.
I think it's just the Kings.
It's just anyways, it's just the Kings, but I think we're going for so they had the Anaheim Ducks in there. That's what I was saying. But Anaheim doesn't have LA in it. It's California and it's also like around LA. Anyways, I think what I was trying to point out is like besides New York and LA, which are like mega cities and have double the dose, like there are other places like I don't know, is it Miami or would it be Florida? Like there's just not that many cities, and maybe we should have GPT a list of how many cities have all 4. But the reason we're bringing this up is because, and maybe you can look at that on the side, is the NBA like a week ago or 2 weeks ago was reported that the NBA was having a meeting about expansion franchises in LA and in Seattle, not LA, Las Vegas, and in Seattle, and they were about to do a vote for that, and that kind of there was a little bit of a, shall I say, like a reporting circus around that, mainly because, as usual, if there's any big news coming out of the NBA, it involves one man, aka LeBron James. LeBron has always said his dream would be to own an NBA team, right? And so, and he specifically mentioned owning the Las Vegas NBA team because there's been a lot of rumors about like the NBA moving to Las Vegas. So Las Vegas has been like kind of like the destination for franchises of late. Like they got the NHL expansion team not so long ago with the Golden Knights, and that was a success. I believe the Golden Knights made like a finals pretty early. They also got like the WNBA team, and their WNBA team has won like three WNBA titles in like the last 5 years. Pretty successful. What else did they got? So they got NHL, they got NFL. They're trying to get NBA, and apparently I think they might be getting NHL. No, that's MLB.
Yep.
Sometime soon as well. So I guess what brought this up is, do we really? Well, there's two questions. Do we really think Las Vegas can become one of those few cities that support that, like, you get what I mean, has like one team in each of the four major leagues? Okay, so I think, yeah, like I remember Arya saying this. There are 8 cities that have that. And so do we think, um, Las Vegas has what it takes? Okay, 7. They removed Toronto.
7.
But like Toronto, like,
And
with
then
the
even
CFL.
Boston, you can see here it's like it's New England, technically not like Boston.
Yeah, but New England would be the best. So we have New York, we have
Los
LA.
Angeles.
Okay, we have Chicago. Yeah, Chicago has all with the Blackhawks, the Bulls, the Bears,
Yep.
and like the Cubs or the White Sox. So they have 2 MLB. We have Boston, okay, with the Bruins, the Patriots, the Celtics, and the Red Sox.
Yep.
We have Philly with the 76ers, the Flyers,
What is the baseball team?
the Phillies.
The Phillies, yes.
Yeah, the Phillies and
You said 76ers,
76ers,
Flyers,
Eagles.
yeah.
Eagles. Okay, so that's Philly.
Detroit Lions,
Detroit
Detroit Red Wings.
Red Wings. I don't know what Detroit's baseball team is.
Me neither.
That's a little sad. So Detroit Lions and Pistons is their NBA team. Oh, Detroit Tigers. Detroit Tigers. And I'm curious, Washington D.C. That's super random. Like, what's Washington DC's team? So they have the Washington Commanders in the NFL. They have the Washington Wizards in the NBA.
Yeah.
I have no clue. Oh, the Nationals.
and
in the MLB,
the Capitals.
and
Yeah.
the Capitals.
Yeah.
Good for Washington. I feel like if Washington can support,
Vegas over Washington.
yeah,
from
like,
a monetary standpoint,
that's what,
right?
that's what I'm
Like,
thinking. Like Vegas,
that's good context, actually.
yeah, that is pretty good. And like, I think that the interesting thing is Vegas had none, like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
So like Vegas is very
The
much a
first was
transplant city.
the
I don't know if it was the
was the-
WNBA or
was it the Golden Knights, right?
The Golden Knights, yeah. The
I think
Golden
was the
Knights was the
first.
NHL one, and the Golden Knights made a splash because I think they made the Stanley Cup
Yeah.
too, or at least like the conference finals.
No, they won the Stanley Cup the first year in inception.
They
And
won.
it's because
Did they win, Luke? Is this
Yes.
real info?
Yes.
I don't think they won. I think
Yes.
they made it. No,
No?
no. I think they.
Uh,
Golden Knights Stanley Cup.
yeah.
No, you're right. They did
Yeah,
win.
the year they made
That's insane.
and it's because of this that the Utah Mammoths got fucked because the league adjusted the whole rules.
Really?
Like, basically, when Vegas came into the league, they did so with the amount of cap space that they could go and buy like almost like a marquee like player in every single role.
What?
So then, like, they redid the whole thing, and then the next expansion team didn't get any of those benefits, and they've been like kind of not great. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow. Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, fuck. But yeah, I remember the Golden Knights. Like, I remember that being a huge
It
story.
was kind of a scandal, and
Yeah.
I'll say this: like Vegas, to me, sports makes total sense. I've been seeing lots of posts and controversy around this, where it's like, oh, like Monday night hockey is not even hockey anymore. It's Monday night gambling because it's like, oh, like every ad you see is a gambling ad, and like all the advertisers are gamblers. I'm like, dude, don't hate the player, man. Hate the game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just more so like Vegas, like the way a lot of sports are going, it is going the direction of like betting. You know what I mean? In the US, they're going so hard on a daily fantasy. Like they're constantly coming up with more methodologies. So like having another team in Vegas makes total sense to me.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad. I'm just saying that's the trend I'm seeing. You know what I mean?
That is the trend. Yeah, like like I don't know. I don't have too many opinions on gambling. Like it's not the best.
No, it's not.
but,
Objectively, I think that's true.
yeah, objectively, it's not the best. Like, but like everyone's old enough to be like it's like smoking and drinking as well. Like both will kill you.
Yeah, be an adult and make
just
a
be an
decision.
adult and do that. And like I don't know. I don't have too many. I don't have too much. Like on the advertisements, like it is incessant. It is a lot.
Yeah.
But like it's because like they get more people. Okay, me and you have friends that like they're looking for parlays all the time. They're looking for like those things. Like for my fantasy, like I'll invest in like AI to like help me with my like like it's because like they're idiots like me and others that like will gamble and will buy in.
But it's enjoyable, like I can't, like I don't personally do it, but I won't lie and say like when someone's like, oh, I'm setting up a parlay, I'm not like, oh, you should like, you know what I mean? I'm participating even though I'm not doing it. Like, yeah.
So like gambling, not good. I can understand why people are like, angry about that. But I think one other thing to highlight is
the reason why LeBron's not going for Vegas is
well, it's not the reason. This is rumored, but like people are like there's the rumored price tag. By the way, the NBA is not just looking at Vegas; they're looking at Seattle. So they're trying to bring in 2 teams to expand the NBA from 30 to 32. To put a team in Seattle.
Yeah, didn't Seattle have a team?
They did, and they moved to OKC. So like it was Seattle Supersonics, and they moved to OKC. Why?
Yeah.
It was like I don't know, like billionaire stuff.
Why do you go back to a city if it failed before? Is my point. Isn't that like a proof of market?
I think it was billionaires. Like I think the only reason why Seattle moved was billionaires.
Oh, it wasn't like the market was actually doing bad. It was kind of like
I don't remember the details, but I believe a billionaire wanted the city to help pay for something, and the city like didn't. And
they were like, "Fuck you,"
because like cities compete for stadiums, right?
Yeah.
Because like you think about, you can let it go. You can think about the revenue that kind of comes in from a city. So, for example, what I was looking at was, and what I wanted to bring up about like the speculation with LeBron is the price tag for the Vegas NBA expansion team is between $7 to $10 billion. Okay, for a brand spanking new expansion franchise. And I was reading the ESPN reporting right before we got in here, and it was saying the NBA is forecasting that
$7 to $10 billion.
Okay, so you're preempting me, but thankfully the crowd doesn't know. But we'll talk about this. The NBA is preempting that Vegas is going to already become one of its top 8
most valuable teams,
like revenue generating.
How? Oh,
not even most valuable, revenue generating markets. Okay.
And how do you determine if a market generates revenue? It's not like just ticket sales, right? Like it has to be more than that. Like merch sales, like everything. Like
most of the money comes from the media. But like the question you asked is a good question.
Oh, like the rights to sell the slots, I guess?
think so. The truth is, I don't know.
Mm.
The truth is, like that revenue generating number, I don't know what marks a revenue generating market. But they were saying the NBA is projecting both Seattle and Las Vegas to be in the top 8 revenue generating markets.
Mm.
So, like, that's very interesting. But even with that, like, okay, so media rights and corporate sponsorship ecosystem, like, I guess fan engagement, loyalty, whatever. But I think what's more important than, like, why the NBA wants the teams to be 8 billion isn't that a little too ridiculous?
That seems like very inflationary.
Yeah, like, I mean, and you just did a Google search, which is the first thing any normal person would do. So you want to share kind of what you were searching?
So like when you were talking about that, because you were saying 7 to 10 billion, I was like, I wonder what the most valuable teams, which would be like, the Lakers, the Knicks, the Celtics are like currently worth. And it seems like that is like the upper end is where we're talking about. So like the Knicks is like, 9.75 billion. What's it called? The Lakers are valued at 10 billion. The Celtics, according to Google, is only 6.1.
Yeah.
So that would put Vegas already above the Celtics, which is like a super legacy franchise.
Yeah.
And then it would put them within striking range
Of
to the Lakers and the Knicks, which is like a pretty crazy.
It's pretty
thing.
insane. And like the nuance here is the Lakers just recently got sold. So the Lakers got sold last year. And that's how like we know the Lakers is for sure
He's 10 billion.
value. Because that's how much the dude fucking like
Paid for it.
He bought it at a $10 billion valuation. He didn't pay 10 because he didn't buy everything. Like the Lakers they gave up majority ownership.
Oh, got it. Like the portion that he bought, the percentage of that scaled is his valuation at 10 billion.
Yeah, valued the rest that everybody had at 10 billion. So that happened last year with the Lakers. Then the Celtics got sold 2 years ago, immediately after they won the championship, and
For 6.1?
for 6.1 billion. And I think that one was I think he bought the whole thing. But at that time, 2 years ago, that was the highest valuation for an NBA team
Ever.
Like the Celtics broke the record.
That was 2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. It was when the Celtics won the NBA championship.
So basically, you're saying that these teams like almost not like maybe not doubled, but like at least went up 60% in value within like 2 years.
Literally. But like again, this is at the top end. So like if the Lakers are number one, Knicks probably number two, Celtics number three. So it was kind of one
That's
of
what I was
those where
thinking.
like the what's it called? The Celtics got sold for 6.1 billion. And I can imagine the niggas at the Lakers and the niggas at the Knicks got their
like-
mind. They're like, I'm
more than that.
I'm
Yeah,
more
I'm
than
more
that.
than that,
Like
yeah.
it's like the Celtics set a floor for those top end teams, and then the rest of them were trying to come in and like, how much more am I
Could they
worth?
do, yeah.
And the Lakers kind of set the ceiling that the Lakers is definitely the number one franchise in the NBA, right? So it's 10 big. So the Knicks being 9.75, well, no one has paid that. That's just kind of like the valuation. Like I'd like to think now as well, like post Lakers, like they might be worth like more than 10, like if you value them. But
Yeah.
obviously, like you're not gonna market like after a transaction that just happened last year.
It does seem like anecdotally it is like data. Like probably like one of the ways that they're creating these valuations is also based on those two past sales.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
absolutely,
Like it's like one of those
absolutely.
things where like as a layman you might be looking at these numbers and being like what? But then it's also like they're actually just correlating off of each other.
Yeah, you mean for the
Vegas /
Vegas-
Seattle like
yeah, but like
estimate.
still, they're like expansion franchises.
Yeah, but it's kind of like saying like this is what a top market team could be valued as. It's probably overvalued still,
Yeah, still,
but
but
it's like that's kind of the benchmark,
Yeah,
right?
and,
But yeah,
and like
anyway.
at the end of the day, the valuations for these sports franchises don't come from like their free cash flow or their
No.
like you get what I mean. It comes from how much a billionaire, like how many billionaires are bored and how many of them think like it's a status symbol.
It's when you get to those types of numbers, though, things just become so abstract. Like I think like you were talking to me about the market cap of like the CCP versus like Brookfield, and like we were talking about like
yeah, CCP,
hundreds
yeah,
of
yeah.
billions to like
Trillions.
1.4 trillion, and then now we're talking about like these sales, which is like 10 billion.
Yeah,
But it's like those numbers are always insane, right?
yeah,
And like I know,
they're all stupid.
like it's just
Video
too
game
crazy.
numbers, man.
Like the only number I can comprehend up to right now is like up to 100,000.
yeah, I know,
Like,
I know.
I can't do more than that.
Yeah.
But,
No,
yeah.
it's insane. And I think like final thing here is I guess some people are saying the Midwest. Okay, Reddit. Okay, let me not say some people. Like Reddit is saying Kansas City, the Midwest. If not Kansas City, a
Yes.
team in the Midwest.
Yes. Well, what?
deserves this more? And I remember you telling me some dumb shit about a map.
No, it was like
Was
it
it
was.
you or is
So
that
I'm
on
putting it on the
Okay.
screen here, and
Yeah.
basically like what it's saying is that if a team was put in Kansas,
yeah.
then you would have a more even split of like the core divisions, I think is what it was saying. Like that's what this is kind of illustrating. So this is assuming that the two expansion teams go to Seattle and Kansas
Okay.
instead of Seattle and Las Vegas, basically.
Okay.
So I don't know. Like basically, it's like now we would have completely even Western and Central, like kind of like Western Conference divisions. But like
Yeah.
I don't know. Like again, I don't know enough to really make a judgment call. Yeah. Anyway, speaking of very large numbers, something else I read in the news this past week is some heist shit. You know, one of my favorite things in the world is heist movies. I think all guys universally love heist movies.
You definitely love a
Like,
good heist movie.
some guys don't like sport movies. Some guy don't like historic battle movies. Some guys don't like sci-fi. Everyone fucking loves a heist because like everyone loves to like plan and see something in action. And like Aria was I shared this with me this past week, but like yeah, the one of the owners of Supermicro, a company out of San Francisco, California area.
Are they out of San Francisco? It seems like when we're googling them, everybody like that co-founded them was very Asian.
Well, that's pretty San Francisco.
Oh, fair enough. But like, I'd be curious. Like, is San Francisco like?
Yeah, San Jose.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, so San Jose, not San Francisco.
Same shit.
Same shit, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you're big server manufacturers. You were explaining this to me before the pod, but did you want to kind of explain what they do, let's say, in relation to everything?
Yeah, sure. So like, cause I was like, what the fuck is Supermicro?
Yeah.
Like we hear about Nvidia, we hear about like AMD, and we know those guys make chips. But essentially, what I understood from the definition of Supermicro is they make server hardware, which is basically like they make the equipment that allows you to stack a bunch of NVIDIA like GPUs together to create like one big like rack. And then they also create like the equipment that you can use to power those racks and cool them.
Yep.
Right. So it's like I think like a good way to think about it is like solar panels, like the racking and the mounting. Like, it's like the person that manufactures the solar panel is not the person that manufactures the shit that you can use to put it on your roof.
Yep.
Right? That's like a separate manufacturer.
They're so they're more of like the infrastructure.
Yeah, they're more of like
manufacturers.
The racking, the mounting, the cooling, they make hardware that like allows you to put your chip on. Final analogy: TV versus TV stand.
Yeah.
So they make the TV stands for NVIDIA chips.
Yeah. But in this world, like chips, you couldn't put your TV on like a box.
No, you can't put your TV on a box.
You can only
put it super specialized like equipment that can like cool the TV and like power the TV, have outlets to power it, and like, be safe and like all this other super complex above my head type of shit. So
yep. So this guy was definitely pulling off a pretty insane heist. So I was reading into this. We were reading into this right before the podcast, but like insane. So what this guy did was he set up these South Asian shell companies. And he was like basically pretending to sell these like NVIDIA GPUs buying them and then selling those to those shell companies, and to the point where he actually created fake internal audits.
Really?
Like he created fake internal audits, and like these audits confirmed that the servers existed in these shell companies and like all the shit. So like he was allowed to sell them. Basically, like what he was prosecuted on is he didn't have the license to sell this exact product to China. You know, that was the charge. Okay. And the way it happened was he would sell them to these shell companies, and the shell companies would just move them in China, basically. And this was most of this was through Taiwan, through like one of his sister companies in Taiwan, right? But the thing that we did not realize until we dug into it deeper was he did this shit before in 2006, the exact same plays with a different, not through Taiwan, but through a different country in the Middle East, selling computer equipment to Iran. Yeah. So look, there's like obviously a lot to break down about like security and like who knows what's going on. You know, clearly like the FBI and shit, like
2.5 billion worth of
total sales.
Yeah, total sales. And of the 2.5 billion, 510 million of that went to China
since 2024.
That's insane.
So it's significant. It's not a small amount of chips like that they're bringing into China, but it's like,
and it's all NVIDIA chips. It's so funny. I was hearing quick detour. I was hearing someone say like, the AI is real. The issue is there's only one person in the world making money from it. And that's fucking Jensen. Well, he's not the only one in the world making money from it. But he's like, of all the money that's going to AI, Jensen
he's most
taking
of it.
like 80 like percent of that.
Oh,
Like,
he's taking fucking everything, bro.
Like Jesus Christ.
The real question is, how does Waffle House benefit? If you know, you know.
Back to this guy pulling the same stunt that he pulled with Iran back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
He's pulling it now with China. And
it just goes to show there is no such thing as true justice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, clearly this company that was generating hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue was doing some very sketchy shit. And they've been doing some really sketchy shit since the 1970s. But...
Well, not the companies. The guy just founded Supermicro. Was it Supermicro that was doing it?
Actually, that I do.
Because it kept on saying Supermicro founder. Like, I don't know if it was Supermicro that was...
Okay, you know what? Even then, that's one degree of separation, right?
Yeah,
it's like, okay, you committed a crime with a company, and you created another one. And it's like, at some point, it's like, dude, you gotta like stop being able to do this shit, right? But yeah, like all this to say, like this whole like national security thing. Meanwhile, Trump doesn't realize some company in his country has sold 500 million in like AI chips to China. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what my question is? How did they catch him? Because he sounds like he knew
this was sophisticated. Clearly,
he knew what he was. He was doing audits. He was doing a bunch of stuff. And like I know, like the picture from the article was showing like they were switching like shipping labels, like the places he said he was selling them to.
Those were the shell companies.
Those were shell companies, and he was selling them to them. It just happened that
they were fake.
They were fake.
They didn't exist.
They weren't doing anything. And once they landed there, like they were moved. They were being moved like somewhere else. So like I don't like.
Probably those shell
companies. How did the U.S. catch them? Because it's the U.S. that like charged them. We
gotta dive a little bit deeper into it. What is clear though is he scaled up his operations, right? Because when he did this in 2006, it was only $150,000 in fines.
Wow.
Now that was like a guilty plea, so obviously the transaction volume could have been way higher. But my thought is that like he just got way better at this exact scheme.
Yeah.
But because there was a history, it was probably easier to reverse engineer to catch him because he was already convicted on this, right? Like he pleaded guilty to it. But yeah, man, dude, this is some insane shit, man. This is like the modern day heist. The modern day heist is not done with an armored truck. It's done with shell companies and accountants and international bureaucracy. Like this is how it's done, right? You need to know someone in a free port. Like that's how you do it. Like you don't get like a safe cracker anymore.
No, you don't. And like it's insane. Like I feel like we should stick on the AI topic, but like I guess like moving AI is like AI would be the place to do these. Like, look at these numbers that we're talking.
Insane.
We're like in March 2026. Man. So in 1 year, these guys did 2.5 billion of sales.
Like 2 years, right? 2024.
Yeah, I'm saying March 2026. Well, so I don't know, maybe March 2024, but like that's still pretty wild, dude.
Yeah.
Like that's still pretty wild. Like I think like we got to figure out like what's going on with this AI, like like how like all this money is moving around. I just said like so many fucking times.
But Polymarket just there's like a theory that so it's a 1% chance that the AI bubble will burst by the end of March, and then there's a 19% chance that it will burst by December of this year.
Yeah.
But I think that exact stat previously, the 19% one for the end of the year used to be like 1%.
Really?
Like at the beginning of this year, like not that long ago.
Yeah.
So it's the general population's like biases are shifting.
I mean, that this kind of leads to our AI productivity kind of like like talk track and AI bubble. I remember that was such like last year. That was like the only thing
we talked about, yeah.
Like which was like, and I remember being the one person in this house at least being like, guys, like, can we calm the fuck down? Like, can we like just calm it down a notch and like just stop like buying into all the FUD that like the mainstream media is throwing in?
Yeah.
And then I don't know, some way somehow, all the AI bubble talk disappeared. Okay, and then we find out this year, AI spending or spending on AI capex is going to be even higher than it was last year. Like I think in total last year maybe it was like 300, 400 billion. This year the hyperscaler companies have already committed to 600 billion.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
So like they're saying like we're gonna spend even more. But
By the way, I know those two numbers sound similar, but that's a 50% increase.
That's it is
Like
it is
it's
a 50 fucking percent.
it's a
increase.
significant increase.
It's
like,
a huge bump.
Yeah.
It's like doubling down, honestly,
Yeah.
into a certain sense. If you think about it in a certain way. And I guess I wanted to point out, so like, and this came out maybe like back in Feb. So our Q4 GDP numbers, starting to show like
When you say R, are you talking about like
Sorry.
North America or
the U.S.
the US? Okay.
Sorry, no one gives a shit about Canada's GDP numbers. No, I'm joking. I actually give a shit about Canada's GDP numbers. We need to step it up. Okay, Carney, step it up. Canadians, step it up. Our productivity is shit. Okay, I need to step it up. Anyways, that was like
You're actually holding the entire Canadian GDP productivity up. with your 8 a.m. wake up, get straight to work until 6 p.m.
Yeah, like
you're definitely ahead of the curve, man.
Yeah, no, I think there's people working 60 to 80 hour days that'll look at me and be like, nigga, like you thought you were working
60 to 80 hour days.
Sorry, 60 to 80 hour weeks. I'm tripping. Like
that's what my dad expects of me. 60.
Yeah, so like, and they're like, I'm very sure exactly. There's people in China looking at me and like what a lazy fucking idiot. But my point was, GDP numbers for the U.S. came in and like the productivity boost, like it's still been going. Like there's been kind of like a productivity boost out of the U.S. since 2023.
Yeah,
and we're kind of like, hey, like what's going on here? Like the job market's pretty weak. Like employment's pretty weak. Like like inflation's still kind of around. Like what's motivating?
Job market is quite weak.
Yeah, like
it's very weak. Like when like I don't want to dive too deep into that one data point, but like the job market report specifically, like if you pay attention to the way that it's been announced, especially in the US for the past 5 to 6 cycles, the way it almost always happens is job reports come out. They says that not only are there not less jobs, there's actually more jobs. Then
it gets revised.
A few weeks later, there's a revision. And then there's a further revision, the next job report. And it turns out like when you actually look at the delta of the 6 months, almost in every case, it's either flat or slightly above, slightly down sometimes. But that's also like illustrating like certain roles getting cut and then kind of less valuable roles going up. Cause like what they're actually hiring for right now isn't like service and like a lot of those types of roles.
Yeah.
But the most recent job report, for the very first time, it broke out of that trend where it came out of the gate negative.
Oh, wow.
So there will likely be a further adjustment, but it's like this was the first time it didn't come out of the gate positive and required an adjustment later on.
Revision down.
It came out of the gate negative, so it was like, ooh.
Yeah. So
anyway,
it's gonna be interesting. Like the job market is very interesting. Like I don't like. I mean, me and you have had conversations about it. Like yeah, like entry. I don't know. I don't want to go into that, but all of this to say, the data is not trending in the right direction. No. That we know for a fact. Okay, how we want to interpret that is left to the experts and ourselves, right? And so, kind of seeing just that productivity boost, it's kind of like, hey, what's going on? And some people are speculating, hey, is this AI starting to show up in GDP? Now, we know in productivity, we know for a fact AI is showing up in GDP
from spend,
from capex,
yeah,
right, from the spend. Like these people are spending hundreds of billions of dollars.
Yep.
Okay, on like data centers, like there's like a renaissance, like an industrial renaissance happening right now, powered explicitly by fucking data centers. Okay, like it's the fact that you need GPUs and you need to run them means you need power. To need power, it means, and GPUs, it means you need factories. To need factories, it means like, you know what I mean? Like you need water, you need energy. Like a lot of these things are happening now, and so in that sense, it is showing there. But I think what me and you, and I imagine for a lot of our listeners, what we're curious about is it actually making like our lives like, and not like, yes, productive in the hand wavy way, but like genuinely more productive? Like, is it actually making us more money? Like, like are people's revenues like, necessarily being increased? And I know, like, so I think we had some examples here. there was the Australian guy. I don't know if you
Yeah,
read
that
that
one I
story.
feel like is not like that one. I think like Aria wanted us to chat about because it was like a positive outcome of AI, but it's
Yeah.
also like
Yeah, then let's
it
chat
is
about the positive.
it
Let's
is
give
hard
both
to,
sides.
but it's also hard to like, I think like even that actually showcases the difficulty in, what's the word, like attaching tangible productivity to AI, because it's like the Australian story that you're referencing is like this guy who basically came up with a cure to a very specific type of cancer that his dog had through GPT, right? Like he ran some of like the studies through there, and then like, you know, as an outcome, like here's the thing, like my understanding based on reading this was like this was a niche type of cancer that his like dog had.
Okay.
And it's like one of those things where like this does seem to be the benefit of AI in the sense of like it's able to multiply a lot of things. Like if you have a lot of existing like cancer research, like you can specialize it and now cater it, you know, to your pet. But it's like, what would you say is the actual productive output of this, considering that like most likely if another dog gets cancer, this cure will be useless to them? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that like in a way, like what I'm trying to illustrate is that kind of is, I think, the overarching problem of an AI. Like you can use an AI tool and be like, oh, cool, this was able to help me analyze the data. But at the end of the day, we know this. It was never about analyzing the data. It was about like being able to like have that data make sense to our client in a way that like got us paid, like in
That's
the
true.
roughest way possible, right? So I think like to me, what's happening is like there's a lot of, and there, you know what? Let me take a step back. I think like in 2026, it would be inherently inaccurate to say there isn't genuine proven, you know, test cases. Like customer support is one of those, right? Like we know like it's been able to create efficiency there,
Yeah.
but it's also like a lot of these things that they're pointing us to. It's kind of like hard to be like, is that productive? Is that not productive?
True.
I don't know. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, like that's the thing. It hasn't shown like it's not showing up in the numbers. So like for example, the gene sequencing thing with the dog, like Demis Hassabis,
yeah.
the head of essentially Gemini, Google DeepMind, he won a Nobel Prize in medicine.
When this came out like 2 years ago,
Yeah,
right?
with
Yeah.
AlphaFold.
Yeah.
Right. It was AlphaFold that this guy used to design a custom vaccine for his dog. And I know like in healthcare, that personalized healthcare is kind of like, you know, the benefit and like the goal, the hope is it becomes so cheap to and that's kind of the thing, right? Like this guy, this Australian tech guy was able to sequence like a whole new vaccine for his dog
Because of the pre-existing
because of that.
technology.
Yeah, and like it became like imagine 10 years ago you wanted to create a specialized vaccine for your like dog. Like it
Yeah.
just wasn't gonna happen. Excuse
It
me.
was impossible.
It wasn't gonna happen, and if it was gonna happen, you probably spend a couple $100 million on
And
that.
it might be less successful actually.
Do you get what
Yeah.
I mean? And it might not. So like in that sense, but at the end of the day, like is that translating to actual like dollars like in the workplace? Like are hospitals able to like are doctors using these gene sequencing stuff to solve diseases and make overall healthcare better and reduce healthcare costs like a society? Like it hasn't scaled that way. And I
Yeah.
think that's the other thing you're talking about. Like I don't know. My workflow has changed certainly a bit, like in terms of oh, like I'm now using more AI tools, like
Yep.
you know, in my day. But am I closing more deals? No, not really. Like you know, like it's like in my head, I'm like, oh, I'm operating more efficiently. I'm able, but like, has that translated into hey, like people are picking my phone up like more. My emails are having like a higher open rate. You know what I mean? Like not necessarily.
Yeah.
Okay, like it's still having like yeah, the emails help, and maybe like when I do get to speak with them, I'm able to be a lot more targeted. But at the end of the day, like you know, it's not all the way there, right? And I think that's kind of the issue where like a lot of our workflows, maybe at work, is changing, but like like are you having more upsells because
Yeah.
of AI now? And like those are truly the questions that need to be answered. Like when we're talking about these productivity improvements, where I just feel like it's not as obvious yet. Like
It's
I
not,
don't
to me, it's not obvious at all.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's not obvious. Like we're not necessarily seeing them.
Yeah.
And I don't know if maybe the way we're expecting to see them is not the way that they're going to, because that's the way we know how to measure things right now.
Yeah.
Right. That's the way like we're gonna measure productivity, but maybe that's not the way to measure AI productivity. I don't know. But these are like the questions like that are being asked. These are the questions that are fueling the AI bubble talk, right? Like
Absolutely.
there's the reason for that bubble might be, yeah, okay, the data centers don't get built out, but you know, at the end of the day, like I think they will get built out because OpenAI is getting a bunch of users, but like at the end of the day, OpenAI and Anthropic are losing hundreds of millions of dollars like every month, right? They are spending a lot and they are getting paid a lot, but they're spending way more than they're getting paid, right? So it's just it's a little interesting. I don't know. I've been on a soliloquy for a
No,
minute now.
there's so much like gold there because I'm like, there's a lot of different things to actually respond to with that statement.
Okay.
I think like first off, I think there is, to your point, the perception of the bubble itself is very complex. People will point to different things when they look at the reason why they would say AI is a bubble.
Yeah.
Some people will point to the productivity item. Other people will actually point to more like much more abstract arguments. Like I've personally heard, like, for example, people saying things like, even if we achieve the productivity, the natural resources being utilized towards this will cause us to fight wars over water. You know what I mean? That's something I've heard like out there. There's also thought processes in terms of the danger of a fully agentic AI and like, you know, fully realized AI, right? There's multiple different thought processes when it comes to these because it's like, there's like the idea of like, what if it isn't productive enough? There's the idea of what if it's so productive that we're not needed? And then there's also the thought process of like, what if it's a pretty good product, but we put so much into it that we can't stop using it? And then the things that we're putting into it is going to cause like shortages of stuff, right? Tons of different things out there.
Theories.
My first thought is maybe one of the issues is the ways that the general public's understanding of AIs is so wide, and this is causing us to not be able to leverage AI to its potential. You think about this is like such a disruptive technology. We're not in the age where like we're natives with this. And the thing I think is really scary to me, and I'm going to say this now, the young people are not the AI natives from what I'm seeing. Young interns that I hire, they don't necessarily use AI in more innovative ways than me. Like, in fact, they're seeking like me to teach them how to use AI. I think that in itself is a little bit dangerous, that like the next generation are not the primary adopters of this technology. Unlike with us, when the internet came out, social media came out, we were the primary adopters with this stuff. We created new industries like influencer marketing and all this stuff, right? Maybe that is happening. Maybe I'm not seeing it.
I mean,
yeah,
we
right?
didn't create influencer marketing.
We didn't, but
Millennials did.
our generation is what leverage the technology in order to be able to come up with that, right?
Yeah.
Like the technologies that go around
No,
it.
I get what you mean. Sorry, I didn't want to
So
derail you.
I think like that's one element, but the other element is like when you talk about productivity, what does productivity mean? The only real way tangibly of measuring productivity is how much revenue it generates.
Yeah, no, it's output per capita,
Right.
Yeah,
And-
revenue generation.
And that's like only one of two methods: more output or same output for less input.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And the point is, if you were to measure things on that merit, I don't think, like, let's say you pick like 1,000 companies that are utilizing AI, I'd be doubtful if like 10 of them can hit that criteria and say they've increased productivity based on that metric specifically. Because what we are seeing anecdotally is companies are adding subscription costs, which is now AI. They're testing multiple models. It's just net more spend. And then in response, sometimes they're reducing headcount, but what I'm seeing largely is they're not reducing headcount. They're just stopping hiring, right?
Yeah.
So you're basically expanding your spend and as a result, expecting more output. I'm also seeing anecdotally, generally speaking, over the past year, like the average scope of everyone's jobs has increased. That's also something I've seen. So
Yeah.
what I am seeing right now with this tool is there does seem to be more output, but like there's more spend. And there's also more expectations of everyone. So it just seems like a linear thing. Like it doesn't seem to be this big, like exponential thing that like we're all thinking. And maybe it's just not there yet, right? I also want to say this. I feel like we're not like what's it called? First prompt users. Like we're not thinking about AI as in just like going in and like typing something. Like we're actually thinking about agentic AI, building skills, building custom agents, things like that. Like these are all things we played with in this house. I'm not saying I'm super AI native, right? But like I would say like I'm in actually the bottom 50 percentile, but I would say like even that, like I should probably be seeing a little bit more
Yeah,
productivity than this.
so a lot of very interesting ideas there. I want to first talk through like the younger generation.
Yep.
I agree with that. I think maybe what I want to add is like another perspective on top of that, where like what we're talking about and what you're seeing in your workplaces, they use these LLMs and these chatbots, but they don't have experience working, being productive yet. So all they know how to use it for is the bullshit
Mm.
that they've been using it for. Like, keep in mind when we started using, and why I was like with the social media and the internet, like I was like, it's not our generation. Like when we were using it, like don't get me wrong, we're using it to watch porn and like go on social media. Like, I don't know who the person it was that figured stuff out. Like was like, hey, you can do marketing on the internet. Whoever it was that figured that out, I don't think it was a Gen Z. Do you get what I mean? It was someone that was doing
Fair
marketing the
enough.
regular way and was like, hey, like
How
all
can I
these,
use this new
like,
thing?
yeah, how can I use this new thing to replace, like, you get what I mean? And that's kind of where, like, for the internet, like, we're talking about this productivity boom. Like, think about, like, what happened to your industry
Yeah.
pre and post, like, your industry, like, 20x.
But you're right. It was kind of like nothing changed, and then everything changed really fast.
Everything
Yeah.
changed. Like, so like and more just to like the usage habits, like the kids that are growing up with these LLMs right now, like they're using LLMs for like their daily like to cheat in school and to do their own because that's what
Yeah.
productivity means to them. Right? Like I don't expect like an intern at Tia that doesn't understand how Tia's business works to have good ideas on how to use this LLM that they've been so native using.
That makes
Like
sense.
at least not yet. Like, but when they understand those things, like it goes like that. So I did want to add that nuance into like
It's a really
Gen Z's, like not necessarily figuring out how to get things done. Now the other thing I wanted to add is so for AI, we know of one use case that might be more productive. I don't know that we have the numbers yet,
sure.
but this is the highest potential productivity use case. You know what it is?
It's not customer service.
No,
Data analysis.
code generation.
Oh yeah.
Like that is the bona fide where like, hey, like I could say for me personally,
Yeah.
like coding productivity 10x. Like,
But like in your professional job, you don't do coding, right? Like
no, not me.
yeah.
But like the people that have professional jobs that do coding, like I'd like to think they're shipping more code faster. Like, and that's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I don't think that's true because,
Okay.
well, just based on the two people I know that ship code,
Okay.
they just do less work.
Okay. So but that hits the two types of productivity.
Sure.
Whereas same output, less input, or just more output.
But funny enough, it's not. It's not because it's kind of like you're writing a prompt and then waiting for Claude or V0 or Replit to run for basically like 2 hours, and you're just like sitting there and you're like,
And then you can do other things.
but they're not.
Okay, fair. Like,
You know what I mean? Maybe it's
I
the
get-
catch
I
up.
get
Like
what you
maybe
mean.
it hasn't caught
I don't
up. Yeah.
like again, like this is my idea, and you're raising good arguments here. Like I'm just saying the only use case right now where like bona fide, we know it helps make people's stuff easier is like now like you can create a stopwatch app like this. Like
Yeah,
I
you're
can
right.
like I can have like a stupid startup idea, builds the whole thing in like a month and a half, 2 months, have people like look through it and figure out whether it's a dud or not like that quick.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Before like 50% of the startup was gathering the team to actually like fucking build the app for you.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like maybe not 50%, but
like 80%.
yeah, like 80%. And then it's like you build it, like I'll figure it out, right?
Yeah.
And so like I think code generation is the one thing. Like I don't know, like people building apps that and shipping apps much faster, and these apps are generating more revenue for them?
And that's a good question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, and that's why I'm like, maybe we see it, but that's the only use case. Like right now, the customer service use case. I don't know. Like does customer service like I guess it does directly attribute to bottom line revenue, but like is that correlation as clear yet?
I think like that's a really good example because the way when you were talking about that, the way I thought about it was almost like, like if I went to a bakery and like I was like, I want that cookie, and like the person now gave me the cookie like 50% faster than they would have. Would I pay more for that cookie? And the answer is no.
No.
The only time I would ever pay more for that cookie is if that was a problem. And I think maybe what it is like we've identified that a lot of things are more efficient. Data analysis is more efficient. Customer support is faster. You can get a fact faster.
Coding is faster.
But it's like, is that actually important?
Doing these things faster.
And more importantly, not only is the question, is that important, is like, is it valuable? Is it like something that people want to pay for? And I think like the answer right now is maybe.
Maybe. Yeah, we don't know.
Maybe. Because it's like in the bakery example, if there was 2 bakeries and one bakery was 50% faster, then maybe I would pick the first bakery.
Give an example. Amazon Prime. That's getting shit faster. People pay for that. People like Prime is like different. Like,
but you know what I mean? It's like think about the examples that you're giving where it's like shipping out more cold code. When a product introduces a new feature, it doesn't inherently make it more valuable.
No, it doesn't.
You know what I mean?
No, it doesn't.
And when a reason a product manager would ship a new feature could be a variety of things. It could be like to try and upsell way down the line. If it's like in the example of Microsoft, a lot of times it's just quality of life stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like what's really happening is you're increasing your cost, you're increasing your output, but you're not necessarily increasing your value.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean?
And that's kind of what I'm saying. Like with like like I'm a sales guy, and like I'm sending more emails faster. I'm coming up with POVs faster. Like,
and guess what? Your customers are probably analyzing those emails faster too.
Same thing. like they are. Like they're like AI slop. An email went out like in our like company like to like everyone, maybe the whole sales org was like, stop sending me AI slop. Like it was just kind of like tell us like, hey, like we get everyone's using AI for emails and stuff,
but don't
like,
do this. Yeah.
Like it's like you have to be intentional. Like it's very easy to figure out when like AI just completely wrote this email, like this outbound cold email. You gotta like think about like outbound was already like getting crazy. Think about how people's inboxes are looking right now with like when
dude
AE can send like 5 more emails 5 times faster.
I honestly like the thing I don't fucking understand sometimes is how these emails make their way into my inbox.
What do you mean?
I'm like, why is it that for some of my like clients, I'm like struggling to work on email deliverability and we're following all the best practices. Meanwhile, this company has spammed me 6 times in the past week. I marked every single one of them as spam and they're still making it into my inbox.
Yeah,
bro.
Dude, some people like some of these apps like they found ways to change their IP address and like send the same email. But yeah, that's by the wayside. But
yeah,
I was just trying to say like you're so right. Like I'm not selling like a ton more. Like my ability to close the deal is still very much dependent on me and my relationship with the customer and my ability to sell. Like not like the AI tool. So it's all this to say. It's a very interesting paradox. Where we are still figuring it out. I know we did like a side project, and mainly you guys. I just looked pretty, and my name's on the company. But you guys were trying to do a video, and you were trying to use Google to edit the video, and it did a decent job.
It got 80% of the way there, honestly.
Up to a
but
point.
ultimately, we had to.
You still had to outsource.
We had to outsource.
So now my question would be: the person you ended up outsourcing the video to, do you think you paid the exact same for giving them the 80% to complete? Or would it be the exact same if you had just outsourced from the beginning and told them to do the whole thing?
I would say this. I think it was slightly cheaper by maybe like $50 to $100 because like I had a sample that was so close. So like generally videographers really like that. Like they're like, oh, cool. I know exactly what this guy wants.
Would they charge you less?
Yeah.
Then
because for them it's like, oh, this guy's not gonna like be up the ass with like revisions. Because it's like he knows exactly what he wants. He actually already has like a rendering that's already 80% of the way there, and he's explaining to me exactly what he doesn't like from this AI generated rendering that I'm gonna need to replicate, if that makes sense. So it's like even for me, like it would be the difference between like me. I'm like, oh, D, I want you to make me a financial tracker versus like, D, can you make me a financial tracker? I have both independent and business expenses.
Okay.
These are the features I want. Here's some things that like I ran into when I was trying it on my own. Like you get both of those project briefs. You're picking the second one.
I'm picking this one. Okay, perfect. So I guess we found one anecdotal example
Fair enough,
of AI being making us more productive and saving three wise guys $50 to $100.
AI also saved time. Like there was like a part where I had to look through like 20 videos. So what I did was I transcribed the videos and I just like took the stamps and I fed it into AI and then I asked it to like output specific clips. So like those are things like to your point.
But again, that's quality of life though.
Yeah.
So,
but it's like less of my time, right?
Yeah,
like
but
where
then
it's
what
like
did you do at that time?
Nothing, yeah.
Which is what you were saying about your coding friends.
That's
It's like
fair. That's fair.
it's like it saved you time, but what did you do? Were you more productive with that time?
Technically, if I then went on to work on another project, you know what I mean?
Yeah, then
it could have been seen, but like to your point, I guess that's what I'm trying to highlight. It's kind of like we just know this task needs to be done. If you're now telling me it's going to take 1/10 of my time, I'm not gonna. The natural thing is not for me to fill the other 9/10 of my time.
No, it's the chill.
Yeah, that's like I think to be
to
on
relax more. And so like I think we've beat this enough, but I think very, very important. Like I learned from this even just while talking is, and obviously I'm a physicist, and my Doppler is there's a measurement problem here. Like not necessarily a measurement problem, but a measurement conundrum.
You know what ultimately it is, and I didn't say this earlier. I don't think most companies understand their own measurements of productivity, which is why it's so hard. Which is why this whole problem is so difficult. Like I think there's only like if you took a look at all the organizations, like less than 1% of those organizations are able to very strongly quantify what actions lead to profit, what areas need to be more efficient. So what happens is when a tool that's generally good at things gets introduced, it's like, well, here's some things that were annoying me. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm seeing most. Like we had this like AI fucking like Olympics thing like last Friday, and like when I was watching like a lot of the things that were being introduced, and I'm like, but this isn't gonna actually help you do your job better. Like, you know what I mean? You might be a little bit faster at this one specific thing, but like that's not going to increase client retention. That's not going to lead to more upsells. That's not going to lead to less time that you have to respond to clients so you can do more sales, let's say. You know what I mean? Like, so that's it at the end of the day. Because we don't understand, oh, these are the things we should be using our AI tools on. That's kind of, yeah, I guess it's our fault.
Yeah.
It's my conclusion.
No, yeah, like I think, but that comes to the measurement. I think what you highlighted there is so important. Most companies don't know the exact activities that lead to value. Like if a company was to break down like what's the most valuable, at least for me, like in a sales role, it's relatively easy. Okay? How many deals did you close versus how many didn't you close? Like it's snap like that. But like in general, it is a lot harder. I think one thing people know is if you hire more people, you have more revenue. Like I think that's been like a simple like equation. It's because it's like for you to be able to hire more people, you need to have more revenue so you can pay them.
And they need things to do, which will generate more revenue.
Revenue. So I think the one thing we know is like labor. Like you get what I mean? Like a lot of like tech companies and sales orgs, they organize like whether a company is enterprise by like the amount of employees that they have. Right? It's relatively static. And that's like one of those things. But like the truth is in between that labor, like when you know you're figuring out AI and like I don't know that and that's why like we always talk about this AI and job displacement. Like I'm like we're not there yet. Remember
I don't think so at all. I think like if anything, the correlation is like a company seeing their spend increase and being like, oh fuck, we need to like lower costs. Like if anything, like it's not because they're like, oh, this person's job is useless anymore. It's kind of like, fuck, we can't afford this person anymore.
You know what I mean? Like it's like I still think until we understand like what is it exactly about what this person is doing that's making them more valuable to our company. That's not necessarily because there's things you can do that's outside to direct revenue on the balance sheet.
Yes.
Right? Like that's very productive for the system, right? Like creating an enabling environment and and like, you know, like even being a manager, like, you get what I mean? There's all these other, like, being a manager, you're not necessarily the individual contributor that's going in and closing deals,
No,
but like you're doing something to enable the environment to make people be better at going
it's
in.
very intangible, right?
It's
Like it's
very,
hard to,
you know, it's hard to measure. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, I think there's a bit like AI might be highlighting a measurement problem a little bit, and maybe
It's a huge
just
problem.
like early stages, and at some point, like, we'll figure it out, and you know, everything will be glossed over, and like the revenues are just
Yeah.
gonna be out there, like, you know. But
The other reality too is like, I kind of know this is true because if you watch any YouTube video, and like I did go down a deep rabbit hole of like, AI replaced my job, blah, 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 you'll realize not a single one of them can actually say how AI replaced what they do coding wise. They'll actually always usually just talk about how their manager is saying like we need to reduce headcount and things like that. And it's like, no, it's always actually just a cost thing. Like it has nothing to do with actual productivity. And I truly believe like we like to think like, because we're living in 2026 and like, you know, like we have spaceships and like fucking aircraft carriers and all the shit. It's like, oh, like we know what's going on, but it's like at the same time, like, no, not really. Like we're not like, you know what I mean? Like we're not that in control. Like,
no, we're not. Dude, like,
like,
I work with companies, and like I'll talk with like the technical people actually getting shit done, and like you'll talk with their leaders, and more often than not, there's a bit of a disconnect. You know, like high level strategy, hand wavy, but like what are these things? Like, you know, like you're selling managed IT. Like at the end of the day, the manager just knows how much it's gonna cost to onboard. You get what I mean? Like this new company, but like exactly how this new thing is gonna make my engineer's life. Like, you know, it gets a little fuzzy there unless
every
like
time.
you have someone that, like, you know, actually knows everything and has a solid idea. But you know, it gets so interesting.
That's a great point. Like in the managed IT space, most people hire a managed IT company because they have one situation where there was downtime and they're like, fuck, I never want this to happen away again. They go to a sales meeting and then there's a bunch of rough stats about like increased productivity due to lack of downtime and things like that. But I guarantee you there are probably a very small selection of IT managers that could say like, yes, in a company that has 1,000 devices, if you get a managed IT company, generally speaking, over the course of 5 years, this is the efficiency. Like some guy is able to do that, but only 1 out of 1,000 transactions is happening because that guy is like, this makes sense.
Yes.
Like
that is
every
so
other
true.
transaction is just like, oh fuck, last week I was on vacation and then the computers went down and like I had to deal with this, and then my wife was yelling at me because they were like, why are you working on vacation? And so now I'm hiring a managed IT company. You know what I mean? Like that's actually what happens.
No,
so
that's so spot on. So hey, I hope, you know, this has been helpful. It's been insightful for me, kind of just talking through our experiences. Shout out to the dude in Australia for saving his dog.
Yeah.
You're a hero. That dog owes you more than just its life. But hey, until next time, AI is probably not gonna steal your job.
Yeah.
You know, aces.
Wow.